All right, we've got a fun one for you today. We're going to show you how to rebuild Dynatrac Prosteer Ball Joints in your JL and JT. And they're the same, top, bottom, left, right. So this process is exactly the same. The rebuild kits are even the same. And so we're going to show you how to rebuild one, and then you're going to wash, rinse, and repeat on the other three. Now, we're not going to show you how to tear everything all apart, because you should be mechanically inclined enough to know how to get this all apart if you're going to be rebuilding these ball joints. It really doesn't take any special tools. You will need a couple deep sockets, snap ring pliers, and a couple other things. As far as the history on these have over 25,000 miles on them, and they've been running 38s. So they definitely got some use on them. And they're loose. They've definitely been, well, used. Another thing we noticed as we tore this all apart is that the grease zerks are facing straight out. And this isn't right, because there's no way you can grease these joints. And that's probably why these are wore out, is nobody's been able to grease them. Because no matter how hard you turn that knuckle, you can't get into the zerks when they're facing out. So unfortunately, we do have to go through the process of pressing the cups out, turning them, and then pressing them back in. Now, normally you wouldn't have to press these out and press them back in, but we've got to get these zerks turned so they're facing forward. So let's get into it. So you want to make sure you get everything nice and clean. And then you're going to reach up right on the bottom side here, grab this boot, and they're just glued in place. So I've got some needle nose here, and I'm just going to break that glue loose. There's the old seal. Now up on top here, we have two little set screws. They're 3/32 hex key. And we just want to really carefully loosen those up. There's one. Now once we have both those screws out, we're going to set them aside, don't lose them. Then you need a set of snap ring pliers. All right, now we're going to take a pin punch. We're just going to give a couple taps. There we go. Clean the end of that ball joint up. All right, then that upper snap ring comes off. So this is our stud here, and here's our spherical bearing. And so we want to capture out of the vise where the stud can still move. You're going to use a tapered punch, go right into that end hole, and just tap the pin out. So there's your spherical bearing, and it's definitely a little loose, so a good time to replace it. And then the stud, this one's got some corrosion on it. We could clean it up really nicely, but we're going to replace the stud, because the neat thing about the Prosteers is that you can get all the replacement parts. So along with our rebuild kits, we also got a replacement stud. Oh, there we go, just barely. Okay, here's your basic rebuild kit for a Prosteer ball joint, and it's going to come with a new spherical ball. It has the new lower nut. You've got your two different size snap rings, those two little set screws, a new seal, and a cotter pin. Now we also ordered in a new stud, and that's to replace the one that's all corroded. First thing we're going to do is take the spherical ball, and we just want to go around the edge. And all we're doing is trying to break that sharp edge so it'll slide into the cup a lot easier. Okay. Now we can tap the spherical ball onto the stud and get it back in the vehicle. Okay, we've got our new spherical ball. It's going on the new stud. We'll line it up, and we're going to use a 1-inch socket. And you can use a press or a vise. And we're just going to press this new ball on. We'll throw a little WD on there just to make it slide a little easier. Then on goes our upper snap ring. Make sure it's seated all the way down in. And it's ready to go back in the housing. And now you want to get in here and you want to clean all the old grease out of that cup. And that's because we have to glue the new seal into place. I've used the Prosteers for years, and if I had any one complaint, it'd be that you have to glue this seal in. It'd be really neat if they came up with an idea where you could just make that seal a snap in and wouldn't have to glue it. But because we're gluing it, we want to make sure it is very, very clean. So I'm just going over it with this razor blade, and then we're going to hit it with some brake clean. Now we got to make sure the cup up inside is filled with grease. So I just got a tub of grease up in here, and we're just packing it up in there, painting it around. This is just a little diff setup brush. All right, so we slathered the end of the stud with lots more grease. And then we're using a deep socket. That's gonna go up in there. There we go. Look at that. And you'll see how the grease is driving out the top. So now we know we got plenty of grease in there. And that's what you should see. You should, when you tap that stud in, it should be pushing the excess of grease up and out. That way you know you've got enough grease up in there. Now we're gonna clean that stud real well and make sure we clean the edge of that cup all over again. It's gotta be clean, clean, clean. Any grease on there and that glue won't stick. Now that we got that stud and spherical ball up in there, we're gonna take our retaining snap ring and slip it up into place. And you wanna make sure that it's seated all the way. So I'm just gonna go all the way around, make sure that thing is seated in there. And now we gotta clean it again. Let's clean that stud, clean that cup. Again, we're gluing it in there, so you've gotta be perfect. Then we've got some Loctite super glue, and it's a gel. We're just gonna go all the way around this seal. And then we're gonna very carefully just run it right up. We gotta push it into place, and then we need to hold it. Make sure it gets set. So look all the way around, make sure she's set up in there, and we can grab a paper towel and wipe off any excess of glue that has squeezed out. This is why we gotta make sure that cup is extremely clean, because if not, then that seal, it's gonna drop out, and you're gonna lose your grease, you're gonna get contaminants up in there, and you're gonna be rebuilding these again. Now to hold that there and make sure it sets in place, I just grabbed a couple pieces of tooling, jammed a piece of wood in there, and it's just to hold that seal up in there. And it says really you only need a couple minutes, but we're gonna leave it for about 5 to 10 minutes just to make sure it's set good. Now before we put our 2 set screws in on the top, we wanna make sure we throw a little grease in on a Zerk. But you don't want to fill it full of grease. If we put too much grease in there, then it could possibly cause that seal to pop out. All right, there you go. 1 down, 3 to go. And this is the beauty of the Dynatrac Prosteer Ball Joints, is that they're completely rebuildable. You can replace all the pieces or just the rebuild pieces as needed. And of course, we have all the pieces right here at Northridge 4x4. You can find links for those down in the description box below. And speaking about down there, well, if you've got any questions or comments, leave those down in the comments section and I'll meet you down there and answer them. Thanks for watching today. We'll see you in the next video.